The Podcast's Empire, podcast mastery for women in business.
Podcasting has been around for a while now in audio and in video, and I'm going to share some hot tips, insights, resources with you today because it is really prevalent that if you're a purpose-driven woman in business, you've got an online business, you're spinning all the plates, you know who your ideal audience is, you're used to having conversations and you're crafting that, and you really know what business offers you have. You are leaving money on the table if you don't have a podcast, because it is a marketing tool. So I'm going to share with you some insights, how to leverage your podcast as a lead generation tool, as a funnel, okay, to attract your ideal client into your business offers. Now, at the Podcast Empire, we do things a bit differently. I've been around in the podcasting space for 4 years now. I've made all the mistakes, got the t-shirt to prove it, and I've learnt from those mistakes. So in our courses and our programs, I fast track people's results because I've made all the mistakes and I know what works. And we do things differently. We're quite visionary in our team here at the Podcast Empire, and we really firmly believe that you don't necessarily have to have paid ads unless you want to, and you don't necessarily have to have sponsors, because you can sponsor your own podcast with your own offers that you've got in business. And you really need to start off by understanding your audience, and who is your ideal audience? And you've probably heard this 1,000 times, but I am going to say it again, because you want to build an audience, build a culture, build a community, know who they are, know what problems you're solving or how to entertain them, inform them, educate them. Where do they hang out? What do they like to do? How are they consuming your content? And then adding a content marketing strategy to that so that you can have those conversations, because without conversations, you don't really have conversions in your business at a certain point. And we want them to know that we know what goal they want to achieve. So, for example, if you're a fitness instructor, your ideal audience may be, post-birth mums who are wanting to kind of lose a bit of belly fat. So you would speak value into that, around that kind of content for your audience, to really speak to them, and then know that you know what problem they have and you've got the solution of how to help them maybe lose a bit of belly fat with some supplements you've got, or whatever it may be, or exercise routine. So you want to be able to provide the solution that they have with your business offers. Now, they may be low ticket, they may be high ticket, but really start with understanding your audience and attach a content strategy to that. So online strategies around content creation is more simpler than what it might seem with a video podcast. With a video podcast, you can create one strategic video episode, upload it to your audio, upload it to your video, and repurpose it over 15, 20 ways and more. So you can upload it to all of your social media platforms. You can take snippets to make quote cards and graphics. You can take lines from your podcast episode and put them on X, Twitter. You can create Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Stories. And then it's showing snips and insights into what your full episode is about, giving people the opportunity to click on the link to watch the full episode. And if they do, and you've got a clear video framework, which we have in our program, then you'll be able to sell and promote and your offers, your business offers. You're going to, if you're in affiliate marketing, maybe you use a really well-placed microphone in your video episode, and people are always saying, what kind of microphone do you use? Maybe you've got an Amazon affiliate link for that, right? So it's really important. Now, these are just examples, but it's really important to understand that your content strategy is determined by who your ideal audience is and understanding their needs and providing a solution with your business offers to solve that. And that comes down to clear communication. That's through your video podcast, that's through your social media posting, and you want to be able to include a very clear call to action. Now, we've all heard the, subscribe and follow for more. Great. Everyone knows to do that. Everyone knows that if they like your content, they're going to subscribe, right? But we need to give more. Okay. We need to give a more clearer direction to our audience so that we can connect with them further. So maybe with your call to action, it could be click the show note below and get instant access to XYZ. And XYZ might be your free resource, your guide, your ebook, your checklist. And then that way they've got to do a value exchange with you. So they exchange their name, their email, potentially their phone number to get onto your email list. And if you've got your system set up, automated system set up, they'll automatically, when they opt in to that lead magnet to get their ebook, their guide, their checklist, whatever it may be, their free instant access to their resource that you're promising to give them because they clicked on the link in the video podcast show notes, then they're going to receive that in their email straight away because it's set. Your system is set up to serve your ideal customer, your ideal client. And then they're going to read through it, take action, take some steps. Then they'll go through your nurture sequence in your email marketing campaign, because your email is where you can nurture your relationship, create more connectivity with your ideal audience, and make more offers. Now, this is a great opportunity to really consider what your call to action would be. Like I said, if somebody likes your content, they're going to subscribe and follow anyway. That's a given. But you can do this very strategically, especially within the framework in our podcast mastery programs. And it's really encouraging listeners to take specific actions related to your offers. Now, some people might have the same ebook that they mention in every single video because they're always trying to attract new listeners. Or maybe every episode may have a different resource. Now, with ChatGPT and Canva, it doesn't take too long or too many skills to create a checklist or an ebook. You can even go to a site called PLR and you can buy for low cost pre-made ebooks and brand them to your own. You can go to Etsy and get some from there. You can hire a freelancer on Fiverr or Upwork and ask them to create them in your professional tone, in your brand colors, etc., and make it really valuable. So you've got a vault of digital assets that you can use as lead magnets for that value exchange. You can have a different one in every episode depending on the topic or the theme of your episode. And consider that if you've got a guest on your podcast, you can ethically access their audience and have that pre-show, pre-qualification with your expert guest that they are going to share the episode on their socials. And if they've just, for example, released a book say they're an author, you're interviewing them, they've released a book, and you're going to drop that book's link in your show notes. Maybe can you be an affiliate for them? So if somebody clicks on that link for their book, that you get a commission from that. So have those conversations, think outside the box. And this is how you can leverage your podcast as a lead generation tool and marketing funnel. So you're going to connect with your ideal audiences. Another really important thing to take away from my message today is when you're pre-qualifying your guests to be a guest on your podcast, consider that they also might be potentially, hopefully, a potential future client of yours. And there's a methodology, and everything for me in the podcast empire comes down to a strategy. Every touch point of our system comes down to a strategy. And it's not cookie cutter because everyone is unique and individual. But what I have found to be true is that if you have guests onto your podcast that could also be a potential client, it makes the conversation and just so much more natural because you've already built that connection. And people really value that because they get to know you before they have that offer conversation as well, if it's something that they're looking for. And this really fast tracks a lot of the going into Facebook groups and cold DMing and, setting up webinars and all that kind of stuff, right? It really fast tracks it for a much better instant connection, pre-qualifying and knowing that the content that you're creating is helping other people. Maybe you're the person that has solved the problem, and now you're helping people that are 3 or 4 steps behind you, the person you used to be, and now you're helping them with your content. So really consider that as well. So can you see at this point, doing podcasts a little bit differently and doing podcast as a lead generation tool and marketing funnel? Then you're not going to be salesy and spammy. You're going to create instant relationships and connections a lot quicker. And it just feels more authentic. You can just be yourself. And that's what I love about podcasts. Now, when you are setting up your landing pages and your lead magnets, you want to make sure that it's still adding value. And we've all been there. We've listened to something, maybe a podcast or a video. It says, click the link and get instant access to your XYZ. And you click it, and it's nothing like they explained that you would be getting. And we feel a bit suckered in, right? We feel a bit, ripped off. So make sure that your content that you're promising to deliver aligns with the message in your video episode. And so when your audience does click on that link to get that valuable resource, they're giving you their name and their email address for that value exchange. They're getting into your automated system. They're getting instant access to that thing, that PDF, that guide, that ebook, whatever it is. And then that is instant relationship building. Then they're going to go into your email sequence and they're going to see what else you've got to offer. And no doubt, we've all done it. I do it. We go and have a stalk on socials if we really like their stuff as well. So, I wonder what else they do, and then it opens up that huge area for conversation and connection. And you can build culture and community and create a group, whether it's a Facebook group, a school group, a circle group, whatever it may be, around that, which is absolutely wonderful. So during all of this process as well, there's a real importance to analyzing and using your analytics and track your listener engagement to gather that feedback and really refine your podcast content and lead generation strategies so you know what's working. You know what your audience wants to listen to. So if you've got, 3,000 views on your YouTube channel for a video podcast episode about how to plant citrus trees, then there's a good chance that if you create a bit more content about that or a series or a playlist around that, that your audience that engaged with that would probably binge watch that playlist or listen to that podcast playlist. And that's the leverage that YouTube provides. And we've all heard it. YouTube is the second largest search engine, after Google. And it is. It is. But it's also a YouTube funnel as well. It has its own algorithm, and it's absolutely wonderful to have a video podcast on YouTube where people are searching, because people go to Google or YouTube, right? What do you recommend? How can I? And your content comes up, right? In the recommended on the side there, the recommended for you, right? And you're like, oh, watch that. Now there's another one. And with the right kind of YouTube strategy attached to your video podcast, making your own business offers, pre-qualifying your guests so you can ethically access your audience and they can access yours. So you're already aligned and like-minded. You're creating networks, movements, collaborations, referrals, affiliates. Can you see how much potential there is there to streamline that as a purpose-driven woman in business to use as a lead generation tool and marketing funnel? You can use it so many different ways, multiple ways at different timelines in your business. And it really does fast track, takes out the overwhelm, takes out the confusion, as long as you're consistent, as long as you know your ideal audience, as long as you provide value-driven content. So my question to you today is that I want you to consider this. Imagine spending a couple of hours a month researching your content for your ideal audience and batch creating, recording them for the month in half a day, say a month. Then you record all your content, you upload it to your audio, you upload it to your video, and then you repurpose that, put it into your content scheduler, hands off, you're done. You just have to concentrate on your genius zone and conversations to conversions. How much simpler could that be? Because repurposing your podcast content, you can put it into blogs. You can take the transcript and put it into blogs. I even produced a book with 20 guests that had been a guest on my podcast, and they all contributed each to a chapter in an anthology, a collaborative book. And we wrote a chapter around their personal story. Now, the point of difference, a unique selling point of the book that I produced with all of my podcast guests who became collaborative authors with me in an anthology book, is that we had a QR code. So you could not only read the chapter of their book, but you could scan the QR code and it goes to the YouTube channel for their interview. So you can see who they are. You can hear their tone of voice. You can see their expressions. You can feel their story. So it's watching, it's listening, and the experience of that. This is the potential of leveraging your podcast as a lead generation tool. Now, obviously, attached to that is consistency and patience and maintaining a consistent publishing schedule and being patient and building an audience and generating leads through podcasting is a long-term strategy. So with this information, and I've shared a lot of information with you, do you think that by having business offers and creating instant connections with your guests to attract, and the content attracts new clients, how does that feel? Does it feel more authentic? Does it feel less salesy and spammy? Because I know it does to me. It's a lot more authentic. It's a lot more real. It builds better connections, collaborations, movements worth furthering. So if you're considering starting podcasting, please click the link below. Let's book a podcast vision session together to see if podcasting, how and will be a fit for you and your business as a purpose-driven woman in business. Or if you're just ready to get started, the link to the Podcast Mastery program is listed right here in this episode, and you can get started with instant access, self-paced video modules that'll take you from just an idea to a content creation machine, generating leads into your business through your very own podcast. Thank you very much. If there's anything else that you need, please drop me a comment, pop me an email, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. And I'll see you in the pod.
The Podcast Empire, podcast mastery for women in business.